Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Saturday to you and your family. Hope you have an amazing day. Thanks so much again for watching this here, and hopefully you can watch all the way through to learn as much as you want or need to. Also, make sure to pay attention to this here as well. We got a nice little giveaway here for Bing X, our newest affiliate. This is basically a replacement for Bybit here, at least for our community, because Canada, Europe, Oceania, US, and UK, they all get a $100 bonus with no volume or no required trading volume or deposit bonus. Obviously, there's deposit rewards too. Links down below, of course, for this if you want to go ahead and check that out. But generally speaking, this is one of those situations where it's very, very beneficial to be able to have something that is catered to these countries that are restricted for the moment. Okay, so be sure to check that out. I think there's only a few extra slots left available of the 100. So I just want to let you guys know after I pushed out to my community earlier in the week. So when it comes to render, what we want to look at is a couple of things here that are important to recognize, but also, kind of obvious, right? So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the big picture. We can kind of see, just kind of point this out too. We got this previous Fibonacci retracement level, 0.236. That kind of holds us and reaffirms the fact that we had that strong resistance level at about 260. Okay, so just keep in mind 260 may be difficult to break. We're having significant difficulty here as well. If you look at the, $2.40 range, right there, we've seen the price hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've tested that level 7 times. So keep in mind, once we break and close above that level, it should be off to the races. Okay, so that's a very, very positive sign. And if so, then we can kind of set our sights on just say 260, maybe 285 as some other profit targets. Okay, but for now, render's looking quite strong. It looks like it does want to break. Let's see if there's anything else in here that tells us otherwise, right? So first of all, we're above 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is coming up. We have this nice average volume increasing. That's a very positive sign. Taking a look at the volume profile, we do have a lot of volume at the current price point, but the second most amount of volume is right around the 176 range. Okay, so keep in mind we got some volume support there. The price comes down. Hopefully you were able to get filled in this little range here. I'm super happy to have got in about the 165, 170 mark. But again, just kind of give you guys a heads up on Twitter that it was a good buy, and I hope you took advantage of that. Either way, we've got a MACD convergence going on for the last 3 days here. This is a strong, momentous push, telling us that there should be more upside potential. We can also see here with the simple moving averages, we're above all three. Fully bullish, not a lot of signs here that are bearish at all on the daily. We got to recognize too that, big picture, not a lot of coins can say that they are actually doing well like this coin right now. So this is awesome to see all these significant qualities here, but mostly just good to see the price above all these support levels too, right? So we have nothing really holding us back for that price discovery, at least for this year, or more recent price discovery, if the price were to continue to break that 260 range. So take a look at the 4-hour here. This is where things kind of get interesting. We can see TD sequential here. We overextended ourselves here recently. We came up to a 9 and then just blast off, right? So we pretty much hit 2 9s in a row. So in truth, we are overextended. But if you see this little pullback here with this nice little bounce off that little support area, I think we're looking pretty darn good. Honestly, that's a very, very good sign to be able to see the price continue like that, and then of course consolidate nicely with this nice little staircase pattern. In other words, when the price comes up and over, you can kind of see that it'll possibly leg up furthermore. Okay. Now again, I'm kind of hypothesizing here. There's no guarantee it's going to continue, but how many times do we need to test this level before it breaks? Okay, it's been a significant amount of difficulty breaking this plane. And I think once we can soundly close above, just say 240 for starters and then 260 as a secondary target, we're going to be in really, really good shape. Okay, so take a look at the 4-hour though. We can see RSI is still fairly high. We're rejecting off 70 on the RSI. It does give us indication that the price could pull back soon. Money is flowing away from this coin as well in the last 24 to 48 hours. Big surprise, profits getting taken from this big chunk of change right there. Okay, so no surprise there, but we do have a MACD divergence here too. So while the overextension is nice and the continuation is beneficial, we are rejecting off specific points and we have a divergence forming as well, or at least a continuation to the downside. So there is potential that this could pull back again. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I think if we look at what Elliott wave, we could see potential further retracement because we are in our ABC pattern right now, and this being the potential B for the top. Unless we can break through that 260, we should expect further downside, maybe to retest the 160 range. Okay, so again, render's looking good, but there's still some conflicting information here on the 4-hour telling us that it could pull back, at least as far as like some larger, some big picture stuff, right? That being said, on the 1-hour, what do we tell us here? What is it going to say? Well, we hit an overextended state to the downside and also another overextension here. We're hitting a lot of 9s on TD sequential. So we hit this 9 here and a 9 there, kind of averaging itself out. So in truth, render has a tendency of running hard, and when it does, it overextends itself, and it typically pulls back to that same place in which it came. Okay. So that being said, we're basically range bound right now between $2.27 upwards about $2.45. So until we can break free from that, there's a good chance we're going to be able to see the price continue to restrain itself in this range, potentially even break down a little bit. Now let's take a look at the cloud here and see. We're technically within the cloud still. So again, this is a reiteration here of the fact that with the cloud averaging itself out at this level at 238, right there, that 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level, we can see that the price action, unless we can close at 238 or higher today, we're probably going to expect further downside. Okay, so to me, right now being above the cloud is nice, or within the cloud, that's fine. But if we were to close today at 238 or lower, I have more consideration for the price pulling back than it would to increase. Again, we want to have a sound closure above or below this level, so we're not there yet. We can't truly say. But generally speaking, if you look at its history, anytime we're above the cloud, it does fantastic things. And obviously, when we're below the cloud, it stays below the cloud for some time. There's a reason why the Ichimoku cloud is one of my favorite indicators, and it helps us understand generally the momentum that we're in, right? Right now, we're testing that momentous trend. That's all well and good, but we haven't truly closed above it yet. And even if we were to close above, I would still hesitate to wait a little bit longer to ensure we don't come any lower. Okay. Again, mostly bullish on the daily. 4 hours fairly conflicting, and the 1 hour is telling us a bit of both, right? It gives us some bullish signs, but nothing truly confirmational. That being said, when I have situations like this, I typically set alerts and wait to see roughly where we're at. So what I'll do is I'll set an alert here at about 227, just to kind of get perspective on it at that point if it were to pull back down. Because again, with this pattern here that we're seeing, if the price continues to go down, it could break otherwise, right? But tentatively, we have pretty good situation here where the price is above the cloud too, right? So to me, ultimately, I think we're going to be in a situation where at the end of today's trading day, if we close above, just say at 240 or higher, we're probably more likely than not to continue to increase. If we hit 238 or lower, just say tomorrow or the next day, I think there's a good chance we'll see the further downside too. Again, wait on the daily candlestick closure. I think that's the most important thing. We can see this point of contention here, very difficult time passing the 238 range. But if we get a nice solid closure above that, we should be able to continue to increase and to just move on up. All right. So again, kind of hanging in the balance there. And once again, this being a weekend, not 100% reliable because you have a lot of volatility and typically lower volume on the weekends. So bear that in mind too. Traditional markets are closed, therefore we're going to see this happen. All right, I hope that makes sense for you and I explained that correctly. I know it's not a definitive direction. Sometimes this happens in trading. You just got to wait for confirmation. And to me, confirmation above 240 today, a candlestick closure on the daily, is ultimately what we're looking for. Okay. I hope that works out well for you and everyone else. Thanks again for joining me. Once again, make sure you take advantage of our BingX offer here with that exclusive offer that they're offering here. Really, really cool stuff. Be sure to check that out. Thanks again for joining me here. We have a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon.